Lecture 43. In the cradle of humanity, our ancestors faced harsh conditions. Survival was the name of the game and the rules were simple. Selfishness reigned supreme. Dreaming of being exploiters, they crafted a religious paradise that reflected their desires. However, this paradise was far from idyllic. It was monotonous, boring, and lacked any scope for development. Such a life would turn into one story in memory. These ancient peoples saw their god as a projection of their own ego. He was a deity that demanded suffering and worship. To them, the structure of the world and the human body appeared perfect. But as consciousness evolved, so too did the paradigm of religion. The New Testament rejected the idea of collective guilt. The image of God enthroned in the heavens, surrounded by stars as lamps and an ocean from which rain fell, no longer satisfied many. Religious texts once held as immutable were selected, rewritten, and interpreted conditionally. They were adapted to suit the evolving ego of the world. The idea of making a sacrifice to please God remained normal for those who were accustomed to killing. To them, it seemed normal that a perfect God would create evil to test his creations, and that this God would create a world filled with beings who doubted his existence. To people who preferred faith to reflection, it seemed normal for children to die for the sake of whose test. They were unable to comprehend that the causes of evil lay not in divine will, but in the conditions of our planet. In contrast, in ancient India, where battles over food were rare, people recognized the interconnectedness of all things. In Europe, this realization came much later, through the lens of physics and Darwin's theory of evolution. Religions began to offer not a monotonous paradise but the fulfillment of all desires. The evolution of consciousness breeds curiosity and fuels our desire to understand the world. A highly developed consciousness thinks without boundaries. The Buddha, for instance, was a genius, one of the enlightened individuals who have always existed, but remain unnoticed in a world dominated by instincts. The world is entangled in the web of nature, and the main biomass is the simplest organisms developing in a single field.